Hello, I'm Serena Nelson. I've been knitting for about 5 years now. What I want to talk about today is casting on for a knitted scarf project. To cast on, you will need your needles and your yarn. Now, this method that I am using to cast on is called a long tail cast on, and it's probably the most widely used cast on for knitted projects. And it's probably the fastest way to cast on, and once you kind of get the technique down, it's really quite simple. So you're going to start out with your yarn, and when casting on, you're going to once again have a long tail, and you need to make sure that you start out with your tail long enough to accommodate all the stitches you're going to cast on. A good rule of thumb would be 1 inch per stitch for casting on. So if you're casting on 15 stitches, you want to start with about 15 inches. You can always cut off the extra, but if you don't allow enough to start with, you're going to have to unravel it and start over. So when you cast on, you're going to start with a slip knot, and a slip knot is you just twist your yarn like that and grab this lower one, and you're creating a little loop, and you're going to put that on your needle, and you're going to tighten it a bit. One thing when you're casting on is you do not want to cast on too tightly. Otherwise, working your first row of stitches is difficult, and you could end up with also uneven edges. So you don't want to cast on too tightly. So once you have your slip knot on your needle, you want to take your 2 strings of yarn. The tail one can go here, and you're going to just kind of create like a little upside down, an A there. And your first step is you hold your needle in your right hand, have your finger on this stitch to kind of keep it in place. You're going to take your needle down, and when you pull your hand down, you're creating a little loop. You're going to come up through that loop, over across to this piece of yarn, and pull it through. And at that point, you're going to kind of let go of your yarn and tighten it just a bit. And once again, you have your little A, you bring it down, you bring your needle up through that loop on your thumb side, over across, grab your yarn over there, and pull that back through that loop. And then at that point, you can release your thumb from the loop and tighten slightly on your yarn. So once again, you pull your hand down, creating a loop, take your needle up through the loop, over, grab the yarn, and pull that yarn back through that loop off of your thumb. And you will just continue this process till you have however many stitches needed for your pattern. And that's all there is to the long tail cast on. Once again, I'm Serena Nelson, and I've just showed you how to do the long tail cast on.